Good morning, everyone. It's actually 11:58 on the clock, so it's almost noon. 11 is justice, and 58 is the Four of Swords, that connection in 5D between the twins. And of course, justice is truth and balance. Let's go ahead and take our 3 deep breaths first. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings. And thank you so much for being here with me and allowing me to be here with you. Okay, so I have 2 messages of the day for you guys, as well as the union and twin flame reads. I also was checking in with my little girl yesterday, and there was an important message that came out from that as well that I want to pass on to you. So let's just get going. Let me show you the pictures. And I want to get into it. We'll roll the dice as well. This is the union read. Okay, so for those of you not familiar, 4D on the bottom, 5D and 6D, feminine on the left, masculine on the right, and the bridge between them in the center. And you may see yourself as a masculine some days, so don't be surprised if you're resonating more with one side than the other. If you're masculine on the feminine, feminine, masculine, because you may be in your masculine or feminine energy. So the incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine, the underlying energies and the closing energies here. And then here is the general read. They're both general reads, but this is more of a general energy read. They're both the Syrian Starseed deck. And then this is the 7 deck read in front of you. And then here is the first message of the day. And yeah, this is the second message of the day. That was from this morning. And let's roll a die and see what the dice have for us. Okay, for the twin flames. Mother, Father, Christ, Sophia, Imana, Creator, please armor us all with your love. And for the twin flames, we have the number 8. Which is about manifestation. It is the dance between the masculine and the feminine. It is strength, inner and outer strength. Here we have Uranus, which is sudden events, and Aquarius. Whoops. And we also have Taurus over here, which is more of that stubborn, persistent energy with sudden changes. So that could be interesting, because there could be sudden changes that you're resisting because of the Taurus energy. But this is the dance between the masculine and the feminine, so that is very focused today. So, which is probably why I just brought that up to you in the union read. Don't be surprised if you're on the masculine side if you're a feminine, and if you're on the feminine side if you're masculine. You're always doing the dance between them, within yourself and within your twin as well. And the underlying energy for the day was at 3:21 yesterday afternoon, so 3-2-1 jump. The underlying energy was the oyster, the well, the King of Cups reversed, and the main male. Just see something. Yeah, before I give you that read, I'm going to give you what I got from my inner child yesterday. So what I've been doing, I've been pulling the yoga deck and the Metatron deck for cards of guidance in the morning to see what I need to do to balance, which has been great. It's a lot of just gentle stretching and stuff that's been coming up to release energies from the body for the yoga cards. But I also am focusing on my inner child after that to get even more insight into what's going on after I get guidance from the cards on what to do. So I was guided to go into my heart chakra that was related to my root chakra, and then my solar plexus as well yesterday. So when I went into my inner child, while I was doing stretches as well, she was just in the middle, but with the hair like flung over their head, right? So you couldn't see their face. And I didn't know whether it was the masculine or the feminine, but that was the point, because what did it matter, right? It's the merge of the two. So the inner child was hunched over with the hair over the face, and it was a message of alignment. So then with the heart, I climbed up the steps I was being guided to look in the book. So it's a meditation that you may have done before, where you climb the stairs and you go to look in the book to see what the message is in Akashic Records. So I climbed up the steps, but when I got to the third or fourth step, the steps collapsed in not like in a 3D way, but in a bending way. Like, so it bent over instead of allowed me to continue climbing up. It was forcing me off at the third to fourth step, which is referencing the 3 to 4D. And as I got off, I realized that my feet were hairy, and then I was actually like that Bigfoot Sasquatch energy. And obviously I was clearing the old. It was kind of that caveman DNA energy. And I was getting immediately alone again naturally. It's like a Shrek energy, where they feel like an outcast and, to be wandering the woods forever. The stone, the eagle, and I've expanded on them for my own meditations, especially from the harmonic egg, where these are energies that felt alone forever. The stone, the eagle, the lamb, and now the Sasquatch, which is getting closer to the human, right? And then animal tags came up. You know how we tag animals, right? To research them. And that was coming up on the Sasquatch. And the location was in the iron cross in the back, which I used to get with my back injury, like across the wings and then down your spine. So I went in to get that tag out of the Sasquatch. And also a long, black, skinny, slimy chakra system came out with it, which was the old caveman template, in order to allow for the new. I looked in the book and I didn't see any words. I just saw bright violet light spraying out everywhere. And then I tried again for another word, but nothing, just light. And then I was guided to do some clearing in my twin, again in the head energy, for any implants. And what it revealed was an implant with a lock in it. I was getting the key on the path, like not to lose, be careful leaving the house right now, or when you're out for a jog or a walk, that you might lose your key. Be careful about that. It was definitely coming up. But here was a key, so the implant in the masculine's head actually had a key that only you had the key to that lock. So I unlocked this and was able to remove this device. And Archangel Michael came in to take it off. And then the energy was of both of us going back to look at that Akashic book again. But as one, like merged as one, with the masculine around the feminine. So together we opened the book, and still there was no word, but only a tree showed up, a very small tree. And they allowed me to take it out of the book as a souvenir, because they said that we were done. When I went to the solar plexus for healing of my spine injury, they were showing me, because I get most of my burning at the base of my spine and then at that iron cross in my upper back, but I also get it at the waist, where I jammed into my waist when I actually injured myself. I fell on my right SI joint. But they were showing me in the chakra layer pictures that it's just like the victim shift, right? So you have the perpetrator and the savior on either side as the polarities, but the victim is in the middle, the one who needs to do the shift to pull the polarities in. So what they were showing me in my spine was to do the work at my waist to pull in the polarities, just like that. So where the yellow was on the chakra system ray was showing me where to do the work, which also has to do with the intestines, where it meets the stomach, and us eating our feelings, which also came up this week. And I was getting lots of connection with this. This was coming up at 7:02 actually last night. To go ahead and express your anger and sadness. Of course, don't take it out on others, but express it. Release your feelings, and then come back to that waist spot again, in the spine. It's also the energy of being all jammed up, right? The energy is all jammed up and scrambled into one space or crammed in there, right? It's that energy that really needs to be released over and over again to stretch it out. So that message was very important. Okay. And I'll pull you a yoga card today as well. Maybe I'll pull you a Metatron card too. So the underlying energy with the weight, the oyster, the well, the King of Cups reversed in the main male, and 3, 2, 1, jump. It's time to jump. The energy of being clammed up, which is also that kind of crammed up energy in the waist, right? At the spine. Clammed up, diving deep, the King of Cups reversed, main male, with conditions here. The eagle, which I always tell you about the eagle in my harmonic egg experience, where the eagle, I immediately broke out into tears because the eagle was living their life alone as the masculine. The eagle triggers the collective or knows the buttons to push. The buffalo is solid, but the oyster clams up. The power lady with wise counsel, she is present to the gifts of hanging out with the grounder and the flyer, looking out at my tree and then diving into emotions very deep of love and a sudden childhood revelation, perhaps, of patience and balance and alchemy of the 6 of Cups or twins, or brother and sister loving connection. Perhaps the King of Cups reversed is unhappy within themselves or able to express a higher love for children, but not extending that same love to themselves. And again, this is sibling stuff coming in. So you may have a brother or a sister who's very closely matched with the energy of your twin that you're being called to work on some energies with. The thief of the Queen of Wands energy, with no emotion to ground into and the weight of the world, the one who stole his opportunities or his heart as the main male, the magician. Or when he was a boy, this is coming up for the masculine, the temptress who stole his heart and then never looked back. And this was coming up as like an older energy of a feminine. Or perhaps his older sister who no one could live up to in his eyes. Cooking up a pearl in the ocean's depths, the King of Cups reversed, emotionally detached or unavailable, or over-emotional and or addicted, dealing with depression or alcohol, but hides it well as the main male. They don't show it to the world. That was at 336 to 37, which is the Atlas Way to the World energy, and the 37 of the King of Cups and unconditional love. So the golden egg came up with the moth and the zebra. The heart chakra of love, like a moth to the flame, bright and shiny, too quick to jump in. The zebra, who's fun and creative, is able to see things before they happen or before their time. Focusing on the heart and the powers that be, the restrictions and the sun that can burn, right, if you get too much of it, while the zebra is climbing the mountain to completion, able to see the past or past the mountain to the smoother plains at 345, 3D, 45D, which is also the Empress and the 45 of the grieving or purging process. The Queen of Cups reversed is dropping the facade about being tempted by the Holy Grail, while the man in despair, grounding and integrating the Queen of Cups reversed on the journey. Getting burned out, breaking patterns for good fortune and inspiration, being able to see what's waiting on the other side of the mountain. Coming full circle, as she comes around the mountain when she comes, with courtship and emperor or mercyship, the journey to be inspired by control in a relationship or gaining control of yourself in a relationship. Then the tiger and the black egg came up here, which is the throat chakra. And the tiger is all about sensuality and power. We have the tiger and the zebra, which also come up as the father and son energy. And I had expressed that between me and my father. So I was my father's son, right? Because I was working with him. So that was a very interesting energy coming up. So the loving lady left for dead. The tiger overcame her and now in bad health. The truth about cutting to the chase, to come clean, to get clean, to clean up the act or space, perhaps about marriage or commitment, or cleaning up the act in order to get married, for a loving woman who is willing to take care of them, whether for good or for bad, right? In good health and bad health, part of the marriage vows there. Maybe someone didn't take them for the bad, they only took them for the good. present to destiny and the pursuit of abundance and a loving mother, as opposed to a restrictive relationship, a happy marriage here at 356, which is the Empress and the Two of Swords. Right? Because a lot of us end up marrying our mothers or our fathers and realizing that we don't need to be in that energy anymore, right? We finished our contract with our mothers and fathers already. And it's 12:13 on the clock. So 12:12 is like that finalization. Then 13 is the crossing over to the next. The transition, the transformation of the death card. After hanging out or being hung out to dry, all in your perspective. So the first group here was of jumping into love or sex too soon, like a lot of us did when we were young. And that the truth without love can kill someone. So someone may have experienced someone killing themselves over love. The cheetah, the owl, and the turtle. Mesmerized and paralyzed by passion, the wise owl, slow as molasses, can't keep up and saying, don't fence me in, when actually they're telling you to slow down because they're stressed out so that they can understand or catch up, to get out of the dark in order to see the light. The lilies of pink and green may be flowers in union, and I was just getting flowers for Algernon again, but may be confused, the Spirit's connecting with me, by red or dark pink tulips, which may be similar, but they're not exactly the same, or innocences and spiritual maturity versus racer red and the last of the red hot lovers, which is funny because that was filmed next door at my house where I grew up, with gifts to bring from within, peeling back the layers of the monkey or monk key in the middle to union, the labyrinth to get home, to come together, the gathering place, the solid eyes, or the social eyes. So instead of socializing, I was getting the social eyes, the gardens, the garden where the Queen of Wands reversed meets the Queen of Pentacles reversed, in a breakdown or break up, or an emergency, answering a question with a question, in a high honoring of the Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, definitely could be the same person or perhaps two grown children or a couple, but the cheetah with the mature man in the middle, and the Hierophant to help expand with the Queen of Pentacles. So this could be a mediation here as well. The Queen of Pentacles of a higher love with messages of concern about patience and balance. Perhaps a cheating wife, and turtle with gifts and color, or a more colorful person, as the mature man says to the Queen of Wands reversed, don't shoot the messenger, right? As they're the one in the middle mediating here. As the wise old man is stuck without words to say and passes message on to their partner to interpret or respond to, or to their secretary. The hothead and the one willing to work with them, and then the hot and fast or slow and tempered, like it's comparing two women, as perhaps the Queen of Pentacles reversed just gets a little bit ungrounded, as opposed to the Queen of Wands reversed, who gets really hot-headed at 410, which is that energy, that's the reflection of 10-4, which is the Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune. But also, if 10-4 is message received, then 410 is message not received, right? Or not understood, right? So there's a need here to slow down everyone, and don't lower yourselves to the other level, but allow them time to catch up. Like, don't rush on ahead without them. Like you would a child. Like, would you leave your child behind? No, you'd keep them in distance where you could hear or see them and get to them if they need you. The crow's distance, right? The shortest distance between 2 points. A place, making me want to cry too, as at a place where you can run to them in an emergency within hearing distance. So here's the elephant's ear coming up that's different on both sides. The phoenix and the croc rising from the ashes, or cutting of nose to spite their face, with rod and staff justice, the divine feminine mother shaman, and the abundant energetic exchange of the crocodile in the water. The phoenix wins by a nose. The Page of Wands reversed is uninspired to transform, to die, or to go through the dark night. Official person on the fool's journey with a house and family room, perhaps completion, coming full circle, or saying they have all these things as well as the world to consider right now. Escaping death. Escaping death, or like imminent death or sure death is just coming up here. At the last minute. Only winning because the opponent self-sabotaged at the last minute. So actually, did the winner really win? So they're saying, like, is there really glory in this? Like, why would I be happy about winning this when the other person actually threw the fight? The bat and the gazelle, lost in space, with grace and ease on the Serengeti. Both one's deer in the headlights, blindsided by the light of close-ups versus getting your picture taken at a distance for a more flattering picture, right? If you take the picture at a distance, it's more flattering, but you may not see all the details that are actually going on. The little mouse with red wings, and I was also getting rad wings. Maybe this mouse is really excited to have these new rad wings, but that can represent radiation as well. And a sweet deer one with two curved horns that don't match, right? So like the two ears that don't match, feeling like you're a misfit toy, right? That you don't belong, that you're no good. And that was coming up with the feminine yesterday. The cold, dark mama bear and the sweet romantic pup. And the wielding the sword of the emperor at 422, the emperor on the fool's journey. Concerned with imprisonment and the devil and the moon, and the details of the subconscious, and the truth of power and living and dying by the sword. Christ being present as the present, standing up on the cross as unconditional love, a gift to cherish, to give up. Right? So I'm getting my message too when I was in France, when we were meditating at the bottom of the Cathars Castle, where I was getting Jesus on the cross saying to us, look to the butterflies and to the sun. And why would you keep your eyes closed when there's all of this to see? And so this is coming from a place of, with nails in your hands and a crown on your head and bleeding to death. And you're still able to see the beauty, and it's making me want to cry. As we're approaching 12/21. All right, so the mother and son and the father and pup coming up here. The fire ant's drama, the stingray activated or burning spine, focus on that burning location, the swollen area, and don't stop moving until it's resolved. And it just turned 12/21. Or case closed, sealed. Focus on the disconnect or the disc, the eye, the white creamy center, like in an Oreo cookie. And then at 428 is the Emperor and the 28 of the twin flames. And right at that moment at 428, a fluid, it was called fluid truck on the side of the truck, pulled up in front of my house, but it was actually my delivery because I had ordered a liver cleanse vitamin, which I took 2 right away because it was guiding me. I got this delivery. It was really important. So the fluid truck bring fluid back into the discs. So it was saying also to fill up, drink your water, and don't forget, because that is the tank that you always need plenty of. No time like the present for love, which is drinking water, on the journey to chase the fox. And then fox chase cancer centers nearby me, so that's coming up as well. And the 3 faces of Eve, which represents the feminine, may not be what it seems. Unconditional love of the magician and the higher love of the Page of Cups, innocence and vulnerability, post-war timelines, being weak in need of courage of the wounded warrior to surrender to choosing a path on the twin flame journey. The gift of the emergency room, the crow's distance, right? The shortest distance between 2 points to get there in an emergency, to heal and dream and shine and get attention and love, which is coming up all around the ER. And love when there's an accident, right? And no one's around to help you. The privileged lady to see a new perspective of the main female or high priestess with new passion and unexpected income. So some of the feminines may actually be getting offers for certain things, or perhaps someone you haven't talked to in a long time all of a sudden reaches out to you. Trauma care, when there is no time, like the present, and gifts post-war, dealing with PTSD and looting, and gifts to bring, activating the spine center, or perhaps the spine center at the hospital, but the center was coming up as the issue where I was explaining to you earlier. The center of the spine is like the victim pulling in the perpetrator and the savior on either side that's burning in order to resolve the issue. Taking the journey to the pole of the chakras to journey to the center of the earth. After the journey, the ride of your life weakened the privileged lady. Okay, so the feminine going through the journey has weakened the privileged lady, and it's like, comparing that to your body. On the merry-go-round, the magician of bad health and the privileged lady who can see another perspective, perhaps in hanging out together, and that could be with your twin. Bringing your gifts to them, a fish out of water and a fox being chased, away from the center of things, where someone may be used to being the center of attention. And now the wounded warrior surrendering to the main female. So the feminine is the safe harbor in the storm, or the emergency room. The fox, not used to being kicked out of the hen house with all the women, and the divine masculine used to getting his way around a lot of women, with the sacral chakra here struggling to close in on itself, collapse in on itself, collapsing vertebrae or collapsing into your waist like I was explaining, or just needing to bring the swelling down, that it's not what it seems. In the eye of the storm, the masks that are blocking the two doors or choices, and choosing another path that's more natural, with unexpected income on the twin flame path at 452, which is the Emperor and the Queen of Swords. So definitely your siblings may be coming up, and also perhaps old friends you haven't seen in a long time, perhaps because they fell away when you started going on your journey and perhaps told them what you were going through. And again, liver cleanse was coming up. Okay. So at 452, the Emperor and the Queen of Swords, where the whale is worn out and the lizard is fresh, but they don't last long with their inspirations. With group energy around, they get depleted very easily. The loving man or twin flame taking a risk to be love and dump the lizard who's draining them. The loving man out in the cold with twin flame lady in waiting, both tied together or tired together of saving the best for last. The lizard with risky business, Atlas and the weight of the world, performing for those left behind in exile, ill or injured, or patience, took a gamble and ending up at the courthouse, the King of Wands with a new passion after ending the old, but not quite official yet. And then McDreamy was coming up with 2 separate papers to file, so it's not just going to the courthouse perhaps to break a contract, but also perhaps to create a new one. And shapeshifters coming up, exposing their true colors without realizing they are. So that's about the dark energies being seen for what they are. Okay. So, yeah, and that was very interesting. The cards from Metatron that I pulled yesterday, the underlying energy was boundaries. And then coming out of the deck was the Kundalini on tap. So again, focusing on the chakra system and the spinal column, which is number 1. The 35 of the Wounded Warrior was the green card, and heart healing, which I was also guided to yesterday. And then the 39 of the Knight of Cups of red, safety, strength, and power of the truth. And then conquering your fear to start today with the 17 of Akashic records and seeing new perspectives, evaluating and reviewing, and then going on to create and expand in your life as the Empress. The Kundalini conquering the Wounded Warrior to the Star, the green Akashics, from the Knight of Cups to the Hanging Man and seeing a new perspective, and then the red of creation and ascending to the Empress of abundance. And make sure to lock up with the higher love. Don't lose your key. Let us show you how to heal at the waist or the midpoint. By focusing on your heart and your Akashic records, open the book, the love to Jesus, the Emerald Order, right? Because it's the Jesus, Mary, Magdalene template here, the Emerald Order, and the twin flame and the divine feminine actually being from Chiron last week, the shaman mother energy, right? So that's the confusion about sexuality, is that the mothering love is the light of love, and the shadow of love is the sexual relationship. It's not saying it's bad. It's part of the light, just like the feminine is the dark and the masculine is the light. It's not bad. It's just part of the duality of the 3D world. The truth is the root, or being en route, of the divine feminine shaman mother. The truth at the root of it, en route. The love being the heart. The wounded warrior are the blocks on the path to get there. To use the key you are given when you open your Akashic book and watch your step. Be careful, because remember, I fell off the steps at 3 to 4 because they collapsed. One at a time, and this is how I got my injury too. I fell down the steps, so they're referencing back to your original entry point of the wound. One at a time, and then the Empress, go out and create or spend time in nature. And a helicopter then passed over at 6:10, which is the 6 of lovers and the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, but also 6:10 is my mother's birthday and my great-grandfather's birthday. And my grandfather's birthday. I think there's 3 people whose birthdays it is. It's my mother, her grandfather, and then my father's father, who wasn't his biological father, which we didn't even know until about 10 years ago. So crazy Akashic records there. How can you heal what you don't know? So I'd done my inner child meditation here, starting about 6:14, which is the lovers and the temperance card of a higher love, and finishing about 6:54, which is then the message to pass. And then I finished that at 7:02. Yeah, so it's 6:14 to 7:02, which was very interesting about the book, like you're finished. It's like a completion point in the journey, as pulling out the old in order to begin the new. And it's interesting too, because those are the dates that I first connected with my twin and where I first met them in person. So then we have let's see here, and then the message from today. I just want to see if there's any other messages I need to get to here that I noted. Okay, and so you may definitely be feeling a stronger connection with your twin as we're moving in. I was also guided to check out Kay Moon's video. I don't usually watch it. I have before, but I don't watch it on a regular basis. And it was the timelines of astrologically of the twin template that she's been researching that comes together starting in January 22 for the next 2 years, basically. So it's going to be ideal energies for, the coming back together again in whatever you need to work out first, and then, seeing how it goes from there. And it's going back to the energy from 2015, which is actually the year that I met my twin. So this morning, I had noticed last night, and they weren't there all yesterday. Last night, all of a sudden, there was a bunch of little ants at my sink, and they were all huddled, and they all looked dead, but I wasn't sure, because sometimes they look dead and they're just sleeping, but there was a bunch of them, and they looked dead, but I didn't want to start up anything, because it was more than I felt like taking outside at the moment, right? Because there was probably at least 20 of them, if not more. But they were little ones. They weren't my usual ants. And I saw one ant that was alive, but it was a bigger one. So I didn't know what to make of it, so I said, I'll just, make sure that the sink is empty, and I'll go to bed and see what happens in the morning. Well, I got up this morning, and they were indeed all dead. There were 2, my regular ants were still alive, and I actually found it in the window where they were hiding out or coming in from. But they were fine. So I'm like, well, how did all these ants just die? Because they were all dead. And I wasn't getting energy of a mouse or anything, although it could have been a mouse, I suppose, who came out at night. But it wasn't like that, like, because they were just all dead. It was like they were poisoned or they'd been at war. But there's, you know, these are clean counters, you know, that I wipe down every morning, every night before I go to bed. So, and the other 2 ants were alive. So why were all these little ants dead? So I don't know, but there is that energy coming up. Because at the same time, I noticed the ants last night around midnight, which is changing into today's energy, which is 10:15, which is going from yesterday's the 14 to the 15, is actually the day I reached out to my twin, and then he communicated back for the first time, was the 14:15, which is the angel and the devil, right? The energy of that war between them. And then my little gnat that I always tell you about, who always comes when I'm reading, he started freaking out around me when I found the ants. So the energy was very frenetic there. And then I was kind of getting an energy around my home last night as well. So there's that kind of energy of someone here who shouldn't be here. So, and it wasn't like it felt kind of like the connection that I would get with my twin, but it wasn't a positive energy like my twin's energy would be. So it's definitely some, you know, negative presence trying to snoop around or, you know, get in your energy to block you and your twin. So definitely could be some psychic attacks going on here as well. And so just stay in your positive energy, you know, keep yourself in a place that makes you feel good. And so here is the read from this morning. This is the message of the day. The otter was the underlying energy. And by the way, today's the 15th of that devil energy, or the shadow. And it adds up to the 30 today, which is the 4 of Wands, the union energy that we always talk about, which is the 3 and the 4 together, right? Because the 30, which is a 3, and the 4 of Wands card. So it's the Empress and the Emperor, the angel and the devil coming up. As we go from the 3 to the 4 to the 5, literally in the numbers in the title, because we have the 3 and the 4 and then the 15, which is the 5, and we got 3, 4, 5 earlier too. Again, accentuating the 3D, 4D, 5D duality there. And the shadow side of the home with the 4 of Wands, which is also the union energy. So the underlying energy, this was at 10:20, the message of the day was at 10:01, and I was dealing the cards for a while because I stopped to listen to K-Moon for a little bit in between. But it was 10:01 to 10:27. 27 is the Ace of Wands and the Magician. And I was also noting down my yoga and Metatron cards for what I needed to do yesterday, or this morning. So the underlying energy is the otter here, again, which is that sweet, I love the otter in this deck. And also the buffalo is below the otter. Then the child card also came up, separate from the otter, the 6 of Cups reversed, which is like 2 children not getting along, and then the privileged lady. So there could be 1 to 2 kids here and a falling out with the privileged lady, or she is one of the 2. With the moth to the flame, dear one, the shark to the star, the hummingbird, along with the buffalo, keeping them in check, as the hummingbird in this picture was literally like, oh, because I went into my inner child again this morning, and I saw a bird at the midline between the masculine and the feminine that looked like, I wasn't sure what shape bird it was, because the tail was kind of curved down as opposed to, outward like wings usually would be, because it was curved down, and then it started walking to the masculine side as its legs grew longer. But it wasn't like a really big bird, like like some of the bigger birds, like an ostrich or a flamingo. It wasn't that. It was smaller. It kind of reminded me of a mini raptor. But the hummingbird in this picture looked exactly like what I saw this morning. And they had walked over to the masculine side and started munching on leaves or grass or something, natural foods or lettuce or salads. So, and then I always code everything when I'm writing, so it's easier to write. And then little girl was coming up as LG, right? Life is good. So clearing the way for the otter and the sweet and curious one looking forward to the loving lady in the mountain taking a chance on direction of nesting with child, the divine feminine presently complete with gifts and coming full circle with the Knight of Cups connecting in the north-south, which also is like the NS, the north-south alignment, but it was coming up as slightly northeast, like not really northeast, but just off of the north-south alignment, northeast to southwest. The storks delivering a child or a new life. Dreams coming true in a rebirth transition, or two inner children coming together to nest. Being corralled away from negative energies to the Nine of Cups wish of happiness, with the Queen of Cups reversed and the Six of Cups reversed, which can be her bad memories or of childhood, leading the way to a chalet or chef's kitchen or winery or Irishman or grand opening, perhaps bumping into the past or bumping into the Queen of Cups reversed with the kids reversed, perhaps not sure if they're happy to see them or not. The official person of the 22 of the Fool's Journey, or the Fool, in energetic exchange at work or coming together at work, or a lot of communication or travel at work, or occupation with false person or false couple with masks in the dance of the tango, or bumping into each other at a funeral, or perhaps in transition to getting to a party or a gathering, or viewing or exposure to death here with the sun and unexpected income and inspiration and a sealed message that is broken. The vehicle of ascension here is the message that's broken, the seal that's broken that I brought up last week. The message in a bottle of handwritten or ink well to the wise privileged lady who's hanging out or seeing new perspectives, with a different perspective here from this person at 1041, the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Cups of self-love or new love, or just two inner children coming together. The Divine Masculine very curious, and the Divine Feminine unsure. She wants to give her time to a negative past or a past falling out. The first grouping here is the Nightingale's song, but I wrote soul, so that could be coming up as well, and the Scorpion's sting. So it's like coming up as soon as the nightingale clears the air, the scorpion triggers it again. The transmuting with high vibe voice, and then triggered again. It's funny because I actually sat down to sing for a bit last night, which I haven't done in a while. And then innocent pup and daddy's little girl, and the high priestess, wishes and good luck. The pup getting over loss and regret as the main male, magician, and the hermit with light on a message of concern and or of a higher love. The Divine Masculine triggering the Divine Feminine, and that's not necessarily your Divine Feminine triggering you. It could be another Divine Masculine triggering you in order to clear you for your Divine Masculine. So then we have the pile of the sacral chakra and the sea serpent, and the zebra with activated third eye. The eye of the tiger within the zebra, right? So it's showing you the tiger as the masculine of the feminine zebra, and the masculine and feminine sides with the seal broken, the union inspired. At 1048, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the walking away within, of spiritual peace and maturity and cracking codes and tossing out the book of love. Getting over loss, regret, guilt, and shame in the past, and moving or visiting inspired by great fortune with completion or completed or emptied a family room. So it's, somebody might have been doing work on a house and it's finally completed, or empty nest, and maybe they're happy the kids are finally out of the house. Or someone moved out, so now they finally have the house back to themselves, or found a new house, or bought or sold a house. And here we have then the wolf in submission with the powerful phoenix, right, rising, the temperature rising of the wise owls and expanding the family tree, the Empress upright recovering with family members who's been out of touch or felt left behind. Perhaps bad health with too much activity. Perhaps the Empress is coming to the house to play nursemaid for them in a wake-up call, or a house that's finally back in order. And then we have the lamb and the mouse, the targeted lamb and the mouse in the dark, silent and scared, the lamb inspecting bridges, or how the critter or mouse got in, and the King of Pentacles hoping they don't have to burn bridges, but if they have to, they will. The weak mouse in need of strength and courage. The lamb is coming up as the high priestess, main female. The mouse is coming up as the older man with concerns of the Christ vibration and needing to stand up for themselves and not martyr themselves. And then the fifth group was the dragonfly and the spider web, the two hearts beating as one, or trapped in their web, being not, wanting to stay in the two hearts as one, but worrying about being trapped in their web. the polar bear, ice cold shadow, and the wounded warrior cutting cords, or who hasn't been able to anchor in, coming together at work to compete and pursue happiness or joust, right? That group effort. The community of being the Knight of Cups, loving, and the lady in wait of the twin flame and the path to choose. And again, this community of group doesn't have to be, it can be a positive or a negative thing, right? Because the Knight of Cups can be a reversed energy of jealousy and schmoozing, right? Insincerity, or feeling rejected and insincere. So it can be either side of that coin there. And then we have the group of the oyster and the peacock, clammed up and show off. The oyster, Page of Cups, not what they seem, or wears many faces to protect themselves with their hard shell. Or assuming the Empress Peacock, her ship has sailed, the Page of Cups upright and the Knight of Wands is reversed here, which can be one child or two children, but the energy of the innocent, impetuous child, which resonate with me regarding somebody I thought of when I hugged them and said goodbye a long time ago. So romantic notions and peacock ship stuck or passed right over them without option, the mature woman of love and her little girl or her inner child here. Nurturing your inner child when they're scared or feeling vulnerable. The loving mother versus the sexual lover shadow side of love. Then the seventh group is the fire ants and the drama, or literal ants dead or at war, swelling, heat, burning, inflammation of sorts, and the bear waking up to the truth. The sore spot, the trigger, the home stability and union, and the time of unconditional love. The post-war and the battle at home or over a home, with the Queen of Pentacles bear with no time like the present. The wealthy man in transition, or sold or bought a house, with pathway of or to the wounded warrior Queen of Pentacles, who's wide awake and on their way. The eighth group here is the black egg with the camel and the vulture. The truth being guarded by independent camel holding water and the vulture ready for the cleanup. Cleaning up the truth without the extraneous for abundant energetic exchange of galactic proportion. So, and again, cleaning up what you need to say to keep it really clean and simple for this energetic exchange of galactic proportion, or shocking event, epiphany regarding stars and space as well. And then 1129, which is Justice and the Three of Wands, being present, or the gift. The Emperor walks away, settling out, ready for change in home and or car, or with the Hermit, the mature man changing, and unconditionally loving boy, or the King of Cups, in poverty, or leaving all behind them to the vulture who cleaned up, or who kicked everyone out of the house. For that intense Two of Cups connection. So filing with the courts, the King of Wands on the journey, in despair with thoughts of the scent of a woman, or on their trail, suddenly, or with an epiphany about them, in sexual exchange and connection at 11:33. Justice and the Christ vibration, which is the unity consciousness. So let's go back to the union read and the twin flame read. So there's definitely shifts in the weather here in a really positive way. See if I can find where I am. All right, so the union read I meant to give it to you yesterday, these two reads, but I was guided not to. So here they are today. So the union read was at 6:54 p.m., and that's the 6 of the Lovers, the 54 of the Page of Swords. And that's when I told you that the solar systems, the two matching systems, felt like they were coming into alignment with the Earth, not only the twins coming together, but the Earth's twin coming together and the Moon's twin coming together. And it was weird. So I don't know if this applies to you or not, but they're telling me now to tell you this. So my birthday's 9/18, which I never noticed before, that 9 is Virgo, right? But not all people in September are Virgos, right? Some are Libra. But I am Virgo. And then 18 is the Moon, which is Cancer, and I'm Cancer rising. So it's so weird that I noticed that my birth date is who I am. 9/18 is Virgo Cancer, which is my sun and my rising. So that was weird. So the underlying energy of the union here for the 4D, 5D, 6D was the transition card in the underlying energy, which is the death portal. The 9 of Pentacles of the Sovereign was in the middle of the read, and then the 10 of Pentacles was the end of the read, which is that abundant family, which is also heaven on earth. Transition through the portal of the 9 of Pentacles Sovereign, her secret garden, and the Garden of Ease Dens. The incoming Divine Feminine with the 9 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands, happy with service for 9 or 6, the Divine Masculine's heart in the Crystal Bat Cave, where the wounded warrior is in exile, with the Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Swords, or the wounded warrior exiled hermit from a woman's group. It's like the masculine being expelled from the women's group that he's always relied on, right? Because he's always been surrounded by women. So the Divine Masculine's heart in the Crystal Bat Cave, inspired by flame, idolizing them or not, it is Sekhmet after all, with a mask, and is he in his Divine Feminine, inspired to relight their flame, or feeling Mary Magdalene anoint their feet, transitioning in 6 rays of Mary Magdalene. The 4D here is the 6 of Swords, 6 of Cups, and the 6 of Pentacles. There's 3 6s here, which Cryon was referencing to the DNA. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they all add up to 6s, but the 10, 11, 12 is the Godhead energy. So the 3 sections of DNA, the first 3 is the 666 of the human experience, which is the shadow, right? Being in the human body. The Divine Feminine playing underwater, dolphins, Lemuria, socializing in the circle of trust, cooling off from the hot burning sun or hot humid sun, a splash, simple disturbance in the water. The Divine Masculine asking for more than you have to give, or he's been asked to give more than he can give. Waiting for his cake to eat it too, equals female and crystals and weights and measures. So for him, that equates, his cake and eating it too equates to having equal time of female and crystals, which could be time, money, and effort, or weights and measures, bringing in a hug of galactic inner children. So what means one thing to you may mean something completely different to the other, which you know is true in trying to communicate with your twin. The Divine Feminine going under again until he takes a breather with peace and balance and innocent love. The 5D is reflection, the 9 of Pentacles, and Luna, or the moon, the light reflecting off the water, emotionally fulfilling as the hermit reflects Lemurians with nightlight and Divine Masculine, the moon, at mid-cycle without interference or standing up. With the number 18 here, bridging in sovereignty of the secret garden of bliss. So again, the 18 is the moon, the 9 is the hermit. The hermit reflecting in the Lemurian energy, right, the feminine roots there, with a nightlight and the Divine Masculine, right? So we talked about some negative energy around the house, so you might want a nightlight just to make you feel better because there's light in the room. And the Divine Masculine using the moon as the light at mid-cycle without interference or without standing up at 720, which is again that 72 of the 72, and 72 is 144. The 7 is the Chariot, the 20 is Judgment. So bridging in sovereignty of the secret garden of bliss. The 60 here, which was then at 722. And then to 23, where I was getting major connection. 722 is the Chariot and the Fool, and then 723 is the Chariot and the King of Wands. So that's also the transition from the old journey to the new. The Divine Feminine, Page of Cups with heart open wide, innocent and free, making a splash, perhaps with dolphin swim, and pushed up in the air, and yet in control and free at the same time. Pushed up in the air. The Divine Masculine ending pain, or a pain in the ass, manifesting a massage or a bliss in union with drawbridge that articulates well, right? Because the bridge is open or closed depending on how good it articulates. The bridging of the 4 of Cups, Long Island to self with plum nearby, A rock to self coming together and one not invited or can't make it or is in exile of the other part of self. The outgoing divine masculine is alchemy, the ace of swords, and indigo. Blending at the core. The alchemy M, the Queen of Cups is at work, or Pisces complete. The alchemy M, instead of anti-M, was coming up as the alchemy M, so someone's aunt may be an alcoholic. With truth just below the surface. Oh, that's so funny because aunt came up in the news today and I have no idea who this energy is. But if you know what I'm talking about, you can comment below. So alchemy M instead of anti-M, with the truth just below the surface, in Lemurian waters, plum, the buoy of indigo purple, proposing diamond light, and a real live boy, with an offer to the to the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, and or legacy here, which the 78 is the 10 of Pentacles, which is the end of the Tarot, which is, heaven on earth. It's the ultimate destiny. The divine feminine with peace, reflection, and innocent, exciting love with open heart. The divine masculine sharing at the mid-moon bliss or settling out in an ending. The bridge between them is fond memories, nostalgic, in her secret garden, wanting to come across to her island, but does she want to share her rock? So he brings one just to make sure, which was such a cute energy there. The divine feminine with Scorpio and Virgo, and the divine masculine's heart with the Page of Wands and Page of Cups. The divine masculine with Cancer, Sagittarius, and Gemini or Virgo on their side, along with the truth. And a plane flew really close at that point at 7:38, the Chariot and the Queen of Cups. Between the masculine and feminine here is the inner children and the sovereignty of land and sea, right? The division of land and sea, and then meeting in the middle. So overall, the number was 65, which is the King of Pentacles. And the horizontal pillars came up as 24, 9, and 32, which is the Queen of Wands, the Hermit, and the Six of Wands, which comes up as the Queen of Wands, Hermit, with success with the King of Pentacles, or journeys to the King of Pentacles. This could be a retreat or road to Mecca was coming up here. And then the vertical pillars came up as 940, which is the Hermit, the Emperor, and Source energy, the 6 of the Lovers, 19 of the Sun, 16 of the Tower, 0 of Source energy or space, the 1 of the Magician, and the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune. So the Hermit and the Page of Cups, or puppy lovers, exposed in a tower event with space for magic to turn into the King of Pentacles here. Or the Hermit and the Emperor, or Virgo and Aries, Source lovers of Gemini and twins in the Sun in a tower event or epiphany, an energetic exchange or sexual exchange with space for magic to trill with the King of Pentacles, which is that high vibration. The 9 of C, of seeing with your eyes, with your heart of emotion, and the C of the unity consciousness, and making a hard left to the divine feminine. The 4 of being Christ-like and seeker of flame. Completion of Sephoro and C4 offices were coming up. Are the seeker of flames, inspired tribe member. Also Alchemio of indigo. Alky Mace of indigo. So I don't know if the alcoholic aunt maces someone or is about Macy's, but there's about macing, and then the indigo proposing heaven on earth. And maybe the Alky maced the indigo when they proposed heaven on earth. Alchemio, it's like a cameo was coming up here, but Alchemio of indigo. I was just getting Al. You know the character? Wasn't that Al? You know, the hairy guy. He's so funny. All right, so 753 is 7, the Chariot, the 53 of the Knight of Swords. And then we go into the Twin Flame read here at 59:18, which is almost at the hour. So the 11th hour here with the 18 of the Moon, and then 5 of Swords, which is the War Within. At 8:13 is the dance, the manifestation, and the 13 of the transition through the portal. And then at 8:28 to 29, which is the Twin Flames and the gifts, came up the E Great Wheel. And the E's were accentuated for some reason. which is the energetic exchange, the sexual exchange between the twins coming up. And then finish clarifying at 8:43, which is the 8 of the dance and manifestation, and the 43 of the 3 of cups coming together in joy. So the major arcana for the read in front of you here, which I'll turn the light on for you now, is the Chariot, the Strength card, and the Wheel were the main cards here, which is Cancer, Leo, and Libra. And then before the read, Karma and the Hanging Man came up, which is Judgment and the Hanging Man of the Hanging Man. And this is the higher self in this deck, though. Not for the Hanging Man, though. What am I talking about? All right, so Karma's Judgment, the Hanging Man's the Hanging Man. And after the read, Reason or the Emperor came up, as well as Ascension, which is the World. 3 Swords, 4 Wands, 1 Pentacle, and Queen of Wands came up as the main character here. We also had the Wounded Warrior there and the Knight of Swords after the read, the King of Pentacles before the read, which he came up in the Union as the overall number there. So we had triple eights in this read, which is the energy of bringing the 2 twins together, right? We have the 2 eights, the crazy eights dancing side by side between their own masculine and feminine. And then when the third 8 comes, it knocks them over into the infinity symbol connected together between the 2. And then we also had 33, 77, and 1010 as the double digits here with the Christ vibration, the sovereign, and the high vibration of the 1010. We also had 7, 8, 9, 10 accentuated the end of the cycle for good, I'm getting. And then we have 23 of the King of Wands and 37 of the King of Cups, along with that King of Pentacles, who is in the underlying energy. So we're going away from that. The code line was all about the number 10, the high vibe, the Wheel of Fortune, destiny, a turn for the better, and self-love and love. And I was guided to break down love again, too. I know I've done this before, but I'll get to that in a second, too. So the code line was all about self-love and love, and the number 10, which is that high vibration of the 10 trill and destiny. And the messages were coming up as the King of Swords was coming up here, too. So that's all 4 kings that just came up. MC18 came up, which is interesting. My son's initials are MC. And since my last name is Stainthorpe, we call him MC Stain. I don't know why I'm supposed to tell you that, but I am. So MC18, and 18 is the moon, and it's been coming up as the inner little girl. And the MC18 of flames, and that can be the age of 18, right, where we become an adult. The imaginary presented as real at the height or at halftime, or somebody may be going through a heart transplant as well, and that can be an etheric heart transplant. But also Holmes' tremor came up, as well as the whore's tax. We have the M as in Imana, or the Pleiadian god is considered a feminine, Imana. But M, just like in James Bond, M is the older mother back at the base, right? To see the ice, the 10 of Wands Atlas here, it's seeing the ice of the feminine, the burden of the fire of the 10 of Wands Atlas energy and the weight of the world. The strength of Atlas that is not real, but twisted all up here. So the other messages were coming up as that M18, M energy, and that could be someone's nickname as well. But the M, however it comes up for you, whether it is the feminine godhead, whether it's the Mary or Metatron and Michael, however you see that M coming up, there's a sudden event. An event was coming up as the Eve NT, or mean square in error, right? So someone who's square or nerdy, who's mean in error, acing Atlas, or icing Atlas, or heavy burden, the strength of self-love and just love in general. Again, 918 is coming up again here, of the M and the Eve. The Amana sudden Eve, and Ditto is coming up. So Ghost was coming up, the movie with Molly, and the goddess of war, Neve, and creativity, throwing an ice ball at Atlas. Again, the imaginary or imagery, but presented as real at halftime, which is also 1 of 2 time. 1 of 2 times, seeing the elf love, suddenly looking for love. right? Because that's bringing up suddenly seeking Susan as well. But suddenly looking for love, like whereas yesterday they weren't at all, and then all of a sudden today they are. Because it's just love. Self-love is love. So as soon as you start loving yourself, then that's where the love comes in. It's like a rebirth. 9/18 is my birthday, so they're bringing that up to tell you it's a rebirthing. And by the way, I talked to my son at 9/11. So that emergency room is coming up again. And then that energy of being in the crow's distance within reach in case of an emergency. The MS of engineering is also coming up here. Or a master's in E, the energy, the little girl, right? Because it's really about healing the divine feminine here, right? The wounds, we always talk about the masculine healing because the masculine needs to come more into his feminine, but we haven't talked about the feminine inner child who needs to be healed. It's not just the masculine getting into more in their feminine, but healing the feminine in general so they can be strong and sovereign and not, put down like they used to be. So remember that it's so important on the feminine side that we're healing, because in order for us to move into the feminine, it has to be a healed feminine, because we take the feminine into the wounded feminine, into the masculine, it's just going to create more issues, right? So this is all the work that we've been doing, is the little girl of the flame and the worthless things, right? This is that worthless wound clearing that we need to do. Southeast, again, was coming up here differently, right? Because before northeast to southwest was coming up, and now southeast or sudden events coming up here regarding the leaf or love or to love, like the tennis match again, because one love came up yesterday. To love, so one of two, one love and two love. The left foot forward of love, the low frequency of love, the horse tax, the drawstrings or the drawing straws in half time of one of two time. The left fielder of love and low fat love as well. We're all coming up as this stuff, looking for love, and left love, all of the wounds of the divine feminine of LOVE, which is coming up as left equals love. Love is the divine feminine. So left equals love. The love is the divine feminine, right? The wisdom is the masculine side. The master of the E of energy and Eve of change and expansion, of freedom. The icing of Atlas and the worthless whore's tax. And again, we talked about the whore, right? The whores and the wives get paid the best for women in the past, right? Before, women didn't get paid anything to work. So the worthless whore's tax, foreseeing the elf love, right? The smallness of yourself. But love is coming up here to just love. The low, love is also interpreted as low. And then VE is the holy place of offering, or the womb. So the low womb. The MC8 comes up here as, the dance. It's coming up as MC8 and then the JC of flames. The strength of self-love. And seeing left love, or being left behind, or the feminine, the left side, which is love. The feminine is love. So if you leave the feminine, you leave love, you leave yourself. The MC bridge at the 3D gate. And this is coming up as the two fours stacked on top of each other like chairs, is the 3D 8, right? It's the H is the 3D version of the 8 and 5D at the 5D gate. So the bridge at the 3D gate is coming up here of the masculine, the gate holder at the 3D, the MC of that bridge, which is also the Mary and Christ energy, right? It can be the MC, the one who tells the story in the dance of the 8 between the masculine and feminine, the JC, or Jesus Christ of Flames, which is also my brother Jim's initials. The strength of self-love and seeing the left love, because left equals love and the love is the divine feminine. The Mick bridge at the 3D gate, or the H, with the weight of the world and the strength of 10 men at the south gate, the 3D south gate. The H, or the fours stacked on top of each other with the weight of the world and the strength of 10 men, or in other words, self-love. And again, the Ev, The VE of the egg and the Ev, which is my nickname, is also coming up really big because of the electric vehicle. So there's a new energy that's going to be very significant in the future, which is referencing the divine feminine. And the forever dream came up as well. Okay, so getting into this read. And this is where I talked about perhaps hailstorms or attacks or explosions coming in, which can be sudden epiphanies as well. The rescue distance of the crow's distance, the shortest between 2 points to get there in a hurry if there's a problem. The 940 of the Hermit and the Page of Cups, right? The wise one and the innocent child. The 7 of Swords upright starts the read in the underlying energy. The Liar, Cheater, Thief card, which is just a card of inherent risk. And in this deck, it's all about passing downloads. Beneath it was, from the bottom up, Karma reversed, King of Pentacles upright, 7 of Cups upright, the Hanging Man reversed, and the 2 of Swords reversed. Needing to swallow your pride or their pride, the King of Pentacles here with Akashic Records. Taking steps or seeing synchronicities to awaken with new information that may throw him off balance in passing downloads or a hailstorm. Hail Marys. Not telling about delays or heated exchange at work with the King of Pentacles looking the other way and taking a risk, passing on certain information, or knocked for a loop and healing by facing their fears. The King of Pentacles with a limp wrist, like in the Awakening, right? It was kind of like Parkinson's, but not. They took a drug and they woke up. But there was that limp wrist he would sit with, and that's coming up here. The King of Pentacles with the left limp wrist, like the elephant of the feminine left limp ear, came up the other day. The King of Cups reversed here, left behind with the King of Pentacles upright by the Magician reversed, who could be a manipulator, after they offered love or vice versa. So it's like someone was offering someone love for them to stay, but they left because they awakened. The King of Pentacles choked or spoke too soon and needing to swallow their pride, not expressing their feelings about delays or no feedback, with the Page of Wands reversed coming together, or a birthday party here. Or the key, or they have to visit someone here who's not well. So this could be going to a party, any kind of get-together, social event, or birthday party, where they have to stop off to see someone who's not well before they will be there. So they're going to be late for the party, taking a risk to pass on what they know. With Aquarius reversed, Pisces or Capricorn reversed, and then Gemini or Virgo reversed, perhaps, and a fiery little Libra if it's a birthday party. With Virgo or Hermit upright, with the light needing strength to surprise and show up out of the cold, needing shelter from the storm. With Leo reversed and Scorpio upright out in the cold, or shedding light on weakness of blow top, crown, or blowing the top, crown, cover, or mind, or kicking everybody out all of a sudden, or after a procedure or inpatient stay, someone was sent home early as to not get stuck in a storm, right? Or an attack, or egos out of control here. So someone might have been pushed out of the hospital early for some reason. And that could be financial reasons as well. And then romantic feelings come up here, and beneath that, let your friends help. No longer obsessing about sudden jealous rage at 10:13, which is a turn for the better, destiny, and the transition through the portal. No longer obsessing about sudden jealous rage or sudden events or southeast. Starting over, off the fence, the Queen of Pentacles upright, perhaps in great pain, or trying to end that great pain, feeling two together, the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or just being at a distance from each other, frustrated and unable to understand why they're ill or the injury is not well. Crying over child or lover, spilled the beans or spilt milk, bad food or water was tainted, or ate nuts and were eating nuts because they ran out of candy. So there's again that energy of something tainted, like my dead aunts in the kitchen. Like, what did they eat that killed them? Burning the past, transferring bodies, And that could be, yeah, transferring bodies or transmuting bodies, feeling others' sexual energy or conception, and making the switch. Third-party breakup, not burning the past, dealing with sexual abuse here, and Scorpio here, which is very sexual and transformative, right? Deep energy. So that could be where the sexual wound is coming from. As we're going into Scorpio to clear the sexual wounds, that's what they're telling you. So the third-party breakup, because they couldn't burn the past, regarding sexual abuse and or Scorpio energy here. As we go into Scorpio, I don't know when it actually switches from Libra to Scorpio, but it's usually somewhere between the 18th and the 23rd. We have physical activity here being significant with 67 and the Knight of Pentacles. Beneath that was manifestation of the 8 of the dance. So it's the manifestation and dance, and then going into physical activity to get your energy, your blood going, and releasing stuck energy in your spine and your muscles. So the Knight of Wands rushing in, away from the Sovereign upright and the Emperor reversed, and toward the Page of Wands reversed, perhaps to help them, and this can be a sibling or a partner. It's the Knight of Wands is upright though, and the Page of Wands is reversed. Perhaps dissatisfied that there's no celebration. This could be stopping a party early too, or canceling it. Saving or withholding and drained and or overexposed or not well because of a sickness. Little imp causing unhappiness. The barrels are empty, or it's no barrel of monkeys here. Or the Page of Wands reversed and the Emperor reversed got into the wine and cost them big time. So these could be two who got really drunk, and so they ruined the party for everybody else, or some kind of gathering. Or they got really sick. Maybe the wine was tainted. We have Sag upright and Aries reversed and Leo reversed. So that could be, a good way to get someone to stop drinking, right? Because if they're alcoholic or they just drink too much and they drink something that's tainted, it may be the universe's way of getting them sick so they don't ever do that again. But anyways, the Page of Wands reversed and the Emperor reversed get into the wine, and that could be whining as well, which then ends up costing them big time. With Sag, Aries, and Leo all here, but Sag is the only one upright. Lots of fire with the Sovereign and the dissatisfied one. Low energy, passing downloads and gossiping, leaving others out in the cold, frustrated, not humored, uninspired to do anything, perhaps anything about it. The underlying energy is the Four of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Three of Cups. Holding on, keeping your cards close to your chest about a sudden event or epiphany or sexual exchange in coming together at a party or with friends. And then again, Scorpio is coming up here at 10:52, the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Swords. So remember that. You might want to mark that on your calendars, that we're going to be clearing sexual energy in Scorpio, because that's huge. And it's already coming up now. It's coming up before Scorpio, because I've already been dealing with that. Wounds of sexual abuse, which I actually brought up yesterday, the day before. So going forward after this read is the energy of being defenseless and unstable, moving or visits. That can be ending a relationship or home as well, with the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help, money, or opportunity, or missed opportunity. Or that can be an opportunist in general too. The Page of Pentacles reversed could be an adult who's an opportunist, who relies on other people to do what they should be doing for themselves. Or they could be missing this opportunity. The Ten of Wands Atlas energy is conflicted with their sister, or dealing with stress and suffering in silence, or not sleeping well, needing to heal and forgive here, or doing that work, not wanting to fight anymore. Perhaps someone's trying to get them to fight with them. The recent past is the Three of Swords reversed, healing, to come together, depressed under the radar, feeling a failure with negative self-talk, frustrated, overworking, or not working out, with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands and the King of Swords reversed. There's two kings and a queen here. This can be a partnership, or they could be siblings, or just a three-way situation. But then at 11:11, the King of Swords reversed coming up as the prisoner or hostage of the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, slaving away. Trapped yet free, the Queen of Swords may be lying about new information, or in a split with clarity about healing and forgiveness. The foundation here is the Nine of Wands the Nine of Wands wounded warrior, walking away from receiving big love, from a place of near death or exhaustion or clingy, Scorpio, destined to share with the world, or divine feminine, or Scorpio reversed with Pisces upright, offering love to Libra, who's only sharing with Pisces, divine feminine. Near death, offering love, but they left already. So there could be, the time period of Scorpio could be saying that there could be an offering of love to the divine feminine either right before Scorpio comes in or right after it ends. The central energy of the Queen of Wands reversed in a breakup with no affection or split lie, dealing with the BS of that, free from deception of all of these people, the King of Wands upright, the King of Swords reversed, feeling imprisoned with the Emperor and the Queen of Cups carrying the burden, or the Queen of Wands reversed, free from cancer, perhaps after surgery, and the challenge being the Ten of Wands upright, going from dark to light, the leadership of that, being present to their gifts and overworking on the twin flame path. The Ten of Cups reversed, an emotional ending that's so over for the wounded warrior or unhappy family of victim or poisoning, as the Page of Wands reversed, awake to the Page of Pentacles reversed, dropping the act, the Knight of Swords reversed, and the Page of Cups reversed, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. There's a lot of unhappy energies here. And the Queen of Wands reversed, with the Hierophant upright and Empress upright, receiving peace, or Hermit, to find peace with them, or to find peace without a choice. And I heard someone talking about Munchausen's syndrome again coming up here. So that weird energy of and I've brought it up many times over the past few years, but Munchausen's, so there's two, one's by proxy and one's the regular one. So one is about hurting yourself to get attention. The other one's about hurting other members of your family, perhaps. It doesn't have to be family, but hurting others. And then so that you'll have to take care of them so that you get attention in that way, right? You don't kill them, you just hurt them so that they're stuck needing you, right? That template of being the savior and the victim. So you're poisoning people to make them your victims, so they'll always love you and rely on you. And that's coming up under Scorpio season. So holding your tongue in rejection or feeling vulnerable, and again, that Munchausen's came up in the movie Ghost, if you remember. Holding your tongue in rejection or feeling vulnerable, unable to function with the Queen of Wands reversed, freaking out, with the Hierophant and the Empress satisfied, going back to the Empress, with the Queen of Pentacles clinging to awakening injustice, or everyone is on the Hierophant's side unhappy, but mostly peace on the Empress's side here. And now in the moment, crowning is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, overworked or not working out, boldly moving through the insecurities of having no affection or through a breakup at 11:45, which is my time of birth actually. 11 is justice and the 45 is the grieving energy of the Five of Cups. Perhaps at war and being strong, allowing peace to come in after a betrayal of disconnect or distance, facing fears in a painful ending, and the world coming full circle here as the divine feminine, the 5D, starting over after it didn't work out and after feeling stuck, unable to function, now offering a new life to the happy one, pushed out of bed in a split, present to date with the Knight of Wands reverse player, or paralyzed by their passions and now reaping rewards. The Hatari doctor energy is coming up here, making a bold move to move, visit, or the Knight of Pentacles reversed who's stuck, sharing codependency, letting go of a home with the Empress upright, moving with kids, pets, and or Leo, or exposing it all at 11:53 of Justice and the Knight of Swords, the Messenger of Truth, or the Knight in Shining Armor. The Queen of Pentacles is upright here, with Scorpio reversed energy and Pisces or Capricorn reversed energy, and the injustice of, or with Libra reversed energy. So soon as the Chariot upright, boldly ascending with twin secret passion, grieving sister or suffering in silence, stress or unable to sleep, the Hierophant jealous or rejected and powerless to synchronicities with the Hermit shedding light on the Hierophant. So that's also Virgo and Taurus energies at 11:55, Justice and the Truth of Excalibur. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Eight of Wands reversed, not expressing, but detoxing the injustices and poor judgment, or needing to swallow their pride about synchronicities, or having options, and coming clean with the King of Cups reversed, Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, and the Queen of Wands reversed here. You deserve love, new love, playfulness, trust, but also codependency and soulmate. Around the twins are how they're seen is the Eight of Swords upright, the imprisonment of feeling conflicted over rejection with soulmate or twin tie, and the Queen of Swords upright with clarity and speaking it, challenged by, or the block here being feeling weak or needing strength and courage or needing better health. You may be sick or lashing out, defenseless to attack, feeling powerless, with love, self-love, but even more so environment, and a green environment, a healthy environment, and pride, which can reference your pride, but also your children. The Devil reversed, the detox process, no more marking your territory, right? Because that's ego. With the King of Cups reversed, or feeling castrated by them. And also that came up a long time ago. There was a twin flame couple that came together, and when they came together online, he was referring to his ex-wife as my Diane, or whatever her name was, which, you know, really turned my stomach, because here he is sitting next to the person he's supposed to be honoring, and he's calling ownership over his ex-wife still. So this is coming up still, clearing that energy out. The Devil reversed detox, no more marking the territory, right, because that's ownership. With the King of Cups reversed, right, with conditions of love, or feeling castrated by him, destined to be impatient and rising above, with Libra upright and Sag reversed, and then the Queen of Pentacles upright and Justice reversed, dead tired of the awakening process, of things being unfair, and destined to move to peace with the Emperor upright, and the Knight of Swords holding their tongue, in order to end the pain at work, to complete a cycle, or with Pisces, or Divine Feminine. The King of Pentacles taking steps to be awake and clear, the Wounded Warrior hiding feelings and feeling imprisoned or trapped, healing with the Queen of Wands reversed, but challenged by burdens of hard work, of going from the dark to the light, in the chariot of ascension, the feminine within the masculine, in being bold, and the need for courage in case it doesn't work, either way destined, or, you know, because the fear only comes of thinking of what if it doesn't work, right? Which you need to let go of that. Either way destined, or Libra, Emperor, or Aries lashing out in pain at work, or holding their tongue to end pain at work, coming full circle, or with Pisces or Divine Feminine. And Pisces keeps coming up with the same energy as the Divine Feminine on the World card, because it's the end of the cycle. The Pisces is 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the next. So the passing of messages to heal, in need of sunshine. The Wounded Warrior, Queen of Wands reversed, challenged by the burden of coming out of the dark with flame in hand. Perhaps working too hard, which causes delays, right? Because you're blocking yourself, in a bold move to hostage who's weak, destined to reason, right? Like justifying a lie to avoid causing pain at work until completion at 1244, which is the Hanging Man and the 44 of the Four of Cups, grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, especially receiving it. So again, that's the energy of the mastering of the Christ vibration as well. So that there is your read there too. And again, I want to accentuate, because this was coming up again, the beginning of the read was coming up more of the feminine, or maybe the union read, the feminine perhaps mirroring with their brother to be an example for the union, and then now was coming up the energy of the masculine mirroring with his sister to emulate the union. So that's very important for you to know. So if you are supposed to get together with a sibling, know that that may be the reason there. So let's go ahead and pull some cards for you guys. Oh, and I did say I would pull a yoga card for you and a Metatron card. So let's do that first. It's 129.16 and 127. So the Ace of Wands to the Three of Wands, and the sudden events of the 16 of the Tower, which is epiphanies and sexual exchange. And the more into alignment we come, according to K Moon, coming up January 23rd, the more alignment we come into, the more you're going to start feeling the sexual energy again, because you're going to be it's like a conjunction from what she said. Very interesting. And my conjunction's in Capricorn, so that's interesting because Capricorn's coming up. All right, so from the yoga deck, what's coming up for you guys is the alternate nostril breath. So I'm just going to show you a close-up of that. So you can do that if you'd like. Okay, so you can read that. And the bottom of the deck is this stretch where you're just laying with a towel underneath your knees to really relax. And here's it's the corpse, and here's the instructions for that. All right, so that's from the yoga deck. Very simple. I'm sure everybody can do that kind of stuff. And then from the Metatron deck, what you're being called to do next. What do you need to do today? All right. So Madonna and mothering. So mother yourself, self-nurture, blue energy. So there's a lot of indigo here. 29 is being present to your gifts, which is very much that third eye energy. And then we have authentic self, who are you? So very much get in touch with your inner child and nurture them. That's the 46 of the feminine and the masculine children within you, not just the one. And then here we have the sword. There's the truth, the Excalibur coming out. The sword coming out of the stone. The silver of the union, the warrior of light. Coming out of the deep, dark waters is the sword. And there's the stone of the moon. Very interesting. I never saw that before. Okay, and then we have the cup of replenishment. There's the Holy Grail. And the infinity there, which we were just talking about in Union 2. And the next two cards want to come up too. So hold on a second. All right, so anyway, we have the self-nurturing, not only of the masculine, but both your masculine and feminine of two children. The 46 is the Six of Cups. The indigo third eye. And the womb, which is the sacral energy of the sword of the truth, the silver energy of the warrior of light. The 30 of the union is coming up as silver. The sword out of the stone, which is taking, right, because the moon is the false light. It's the stone that kept the sword, right, from its true calling, is going away in order to get to the womb, which is reflected over here too as the inner child. The womb of the feminine is the Holy Grail, which is the gold. We have the silver and gold. Look at that. The cup of replenishment, the 16 of the tower events, sudden events, epiphanies, and sexual exchange. Like filling up your cup again with silver and gold. I'm getting silver and gold. Is that from Rudolph? I can't remember. But anyway, okay, so self-nurturing, both of you, right? This is like the feminine, this is the masculine, both going into their inner children to be the silver and gold, right? Because the gold is the masculine, the silver is the feminine. The children come in as the gold, but the feminine becomes the silver when she has a child. That's the messages I was getting. So when you have a child, you give your gold Christ vibration to your child. And until you find self-love again, you stay in the silver. So you're coming back to that gold. But it's definitely the feminine of the silver and the masculine of the gold. But the gold, the Holy Grail, is actually the womb of the child, right? So very beautiful energies there. So that's what you're being called to do, is self-love, nurture your inner child, know your truth and your love, right? Because the Ace of Cups is love, and it's silver and gold, of the 30 of union, and the energetic exchange of the Tower of Epiphanies and sexual exchange here. These two cards also want to be seen before I stop with this deck. The white, purity and innocence, again, purifying, transmuting, the King of Swords here. And the 49 of the Nine of Cups, right? Getting your wish with self-love, circles of life and family is coming up. The joy that you get within yourself of experiencing family, right? Because they know you so well. And again, here's that diamond light of the wing, the angelic wing. It's like the masculine spreading their wings into their purity, their purification, but also their innocence, right? Their inner child of purity, which is much more about the feminine energy. And doing this, again, like I said, probably with a sister, okay? Or someone who's very much in their self-love in the family. Again, mirroring with a sibling to mimic your twin flame relationship is coming up here. And then Scorpio's sexual energies. The cosmos mirrors you. 20 is judgment. So that's a wake-up call, announcements, perhaps calling in music, rescue efforts. You know, the crow's distance again was important about being there in an emergency when you make sure you're close enough to get to them in an emergency. And then, and with the cosmos in the underlying energy, it says mirrors you. So you're doing a lot of mirroring work here. Mirroring and sexual womb energy. And silver and gold, which can bring up wounds of being first place and second place too, which I brought up in the past couple weeks. So that's there too. And if Scorpio is coming up, that'll definitely come up because Scorpio is definitely a competitive energy. All right, so from the Animal Spirit deck, oh, that came right out, kind of bent over backwards to come out. All right, someone might be bending over backwards to come out. There's your Phoenix rising. A lot of energy with Phoenix is coming up because my brother's thinking of getting a home out there, and I was thinking about possibly doing that with them, or my friends moving out there. So a lot of Phoenix energy is just coming up in general. But the Phoenix rising and then Cosmic Egg. Which is about the crown chakra, but it's also referencing a different perspective than the other card of the collective awakening with the Kundalini around it, but not closed, right? So one picture shows it closed and here it's open, right? The seal being broken. So these are very significant coming out together. Like they're two major arcana. This is the spiritual section of the deck. And I'm getting Poe here. That was my sister-in-law of my brother, then who's moving. That was their old cat who had passed away. So maybe Poe's coming back. I'll have to tell her that. So there could be souls that you've lost recently who come right back as a child or a pet to you because they want to be in this experience. And then we have Kas. Kas is my father's nickname. So perhaps the cat and my dad are coming back to experience this. And then we have the hawk clearing the way for this. Very interesting. And this is very much the same kind of wings over here. So the hawk energy has risen from the ashes in order to help clear the way for the collective awakening. Very cool. And then the cobra comes up here too, which is again the snake that is not sealed. The seal is broken. Right? When the student is ready, the teacher will come. And this is them clearing the way for the teacher to come, right? The second coming of Christ is actually coming up here too, right? This is the second coming of the collective Christ. So cool. And don't forget about the croc, right? The croc of you know what. And this is the one where he cuts off his nose to spite their face, right? They're doing it to themselves because the reptilian energy will be in their ego. They will self-sabotage if you let them because they're an ego. There's no way around that, right? Because they service themselves. And then we have the elephant here who never forgets. And it's like they're laying in wait, but the elephant hasn't forgotten. So they are still ready to come in as a stampede right behind them. They are holding the flame and the third eye open, right? They're ready to go into that root chakra there with the red third eye here, with flame in their trunk. This also can be that energy of the dowry that the feminine has for the divine masculine, right? Because the elephant never forgets. So she puts it in a treasure chest because she cherishes the energy of that energy, right? Because if they didn't love them, they wouldn't bother at all, right? It has to do with nostalgia and having that kind of sentimentality, but attaching it to things as opposed to the feelings of being with that person. It's like keeping the things of that person, so you'll keep those good feelings of that person alive. And that's what's coming up around that. And then we have the camel here too, who's very, they're definitely like kind of, overseers here, right? And you notice there's not much color in here, right? This is very low vibration, very reptilian energy. And then here's the elephant which is going into their root chakra to clear the root, right? It's like a stampede through to get through the 3D, but there's no color in this, right? They're struggling with this. They're like walking transmuters. They're not exuding the light. They are the light. They're stomping out the dark energy here. And then the same with the camel, but they're still struggling with the dark energy that might get them a little blue. And then here's the vulture, who is patiently waiting to do cleanup duty. They're ready whenever they're on call. They're on call. And it's all coming from the heart of the golden egg, the Christ consciousness. And Spirit's connecting with me. And the honeybees behind there too. So we have the deer one and the honeybee. It's like those are the two personalities of the masculine and the feminine, as Cryon would speak to you. Right? The bee has to pollinate the flower. So that's the masculine. And the deer is the deer one. The feminine is the deer one. So sweet the way the cards come up. Right? So here's the bee coming into the heart, right? The golden egg, like the golden goose, to pollinate. They want to spread their seed to this very important womb. And then here's their cheetah history behind them, where they would jump into things too soon, right? They're clearing this energy. And look at what comes up next, the deer one. I just told you that. And the deer one then needing to look pretty for them, right? That's their wound. That you should, look how beautiful the deer is naturally. But wanting to dress up for them, right? Because they feel like they're not good enough, which then draws the shark attack, right? Unsavory energies. And then I'm also getting like the morning after, like, how guys always tease about, but what does she look like the morning after? That's what's coming in. The real truth, the ugly truth. That's so funny. The cards in Spirit are very funny. Or we have the underlying energy of the tarantula here, which is about being at a crossroads. Okay. And there's the stunned wolf into submission. All right. So, and there's the eagle. All right. So the eagle triggers you, right, to get going. When you need to get moving, the eagle will come in to light a fire under your butt, basically. But the eagle also comes as the wounded masculine who, their past where they were alone and they'd suffered because of the union they felt with their twin and then had to be alone. It's like they don't want to be with you because what happens if you die and they have to be alone without you? How will they live again? It's making me want to cry. And then the wolf being stunned into submission, right? So they'd have to step away from a leadership role and take notice of the path that they need to choose. Oh gosh, you guys, if you haven't felt the change in energies in the past month or so, I would be very surprised. All right, so from the journey of love, and 3 came out right away. The bottom of the deck is the ethereal touch, again, that light touch. Be light and airy, the 27 of passion, which if you take out the ego is inspiration. So be very light and gentle is the energy here. There's the acceptance of what's real, the illusion that's not an illusion, it's real. There is being a witness to the divine relationship, the truth, accepting the truth of the etheric touch, of the angelic realms, of the enlightenment, the passion, the inspiration there. And here are the 3 cards that come out for you. That she is the moon. That's so funny because I just told you about K Moon. So you might want to watch her astrological report on 22 and 23. She is the moon. 21 is completion, coming full circle around the world as we pull the sword out of the moon, the sword from the stone. The seal is broken. That's what I'm getting. That's the reference to it. And again, we have where to put the power, putting the power here in your heart, where it belongs, in the feminine, which is the love. It's making me cry. It's really high vibration. The guardian of the soul family is the 26, is the Page of Wands, the child, the inspiration. And here's the witness to it. So again, there may be new souls coming in that you already know. They've come back to witness this because they knew it was coming. And if you notice, it looks like this circle actually fits into this slot right here, right? Putting the power here into the heart. And this is where the heart is where all are together in union, and then loving all that is. So it's like bringing that into the heart space, right? The mother, father, child. The guardian of the soul family is the child, the Page of Wands. And loving all that is as they come into that space, the 22 of the Fool's Journey, of allowing yourself to keep your heart open. That's what the message was when I was doing some healing the other night for somebody else, to just keep your heart open. Allow, even if it's something uncomfortable like sexual energy that comes in and you don't know where it's coming from, if you're doing healing work, they're using the sexual energy to heal. And that may be a big sexual wound for you, to feel sexual energy that may not be yours. So that's something we're clearing, because it is very healing energy, to use it to heal each other. Loving all that is the Fool's Journey. Keeping an open heart and taking a leap of faith. Even if you don't know everything, have faith. If you feel it, you know it, right? If you feel the good energy initially when it comes in, then it is good energy, especially if your intention is for healing purposes, okay? How can that not be something good? All right, and you notice that all three circles come together as one. So it's all being in the same place, in your heart, in the vortex, loving all that is, and saving space, okay? And that's very feminine energy there, but the masculine is there. It's the two feminine to the masculine, which it always comes up that way in the energy. Because you need the two feminines, because you're in the masculine world, right? The world of the sun is the masculine 3D. So you need the two parts feminine to keep it balanced. That had come up a long time ago. That's coming up again. All right, so I have to read you really quickly. I have to read you the Phoenix too, because that's these first four cards. I'm going to show you again because they're very powerful, right? So these two came up together, the crown chakra and the root chakra, root to tip, going through the whole system. And then you have the top of the cobra head right here. And the wing. Look, they're repeating each other. It's like the adults and the children, right? The adults and the children, or the children and the adults. When the student is ready, the teacher will come, and you are being each other's teachers and students. Here you are, right? Match, 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 match. How beautiful is that, you guys? Oh my gosh. These cards are just too much sometimes. They're beautiful. All right. So from the Spirit Animal deck is the Phoenix Rising, which is like a trump card, so I do want to read that to you. So freedom from suffering and past karma, reincarnation. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication, or tapas. The essence of the Phoenix is with us when we realize we've been suffering too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversion. At that very moment, the spark of the Phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes, and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the Phoenix lifts our spirits up and up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign of fire of transformation is upon your wings. And the first chakra, the Phoenix, is the ancient yogis believe that our heaviest karmas reside in the first chakra. This earthen center is also called Muladhara, or our root. The ascent of the Phoenix begins here, and as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, it rises from the ash toward the navel center. Again and again, it makes this journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. And then we have I have to do the crown too, since they came out together as the masculine and the feminine. So the crown chakra, if I can get there. So of course that's the seventh chakra, the cosmic egg, completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the Journey of the Animal Spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time. So you've gone from the root chakra, leaving subconscious to be in the consciousness, and here you're going into the cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we've tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we're reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning, that we hold on to life, and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. And so that seventh chakra is the subtle essence of the cosmic egg that resides at the crown at the top of the head, called Sahasrara. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel energy from the base of the spine upward towards that energy center. Each of the 6 lower chakras plays an important role along the journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it is said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. Okay, and then from the journey of love, we have She is the Moon at 21. Okay, she is the moon. The light of the moon ebbs and flows. The wisdom of patience is not about waiting around for something to happen rather than getting up and getting it done. The wisdom of patience is that of the gardener who consults their lunar calendar. The right timing promoting growth, planting when there's fertile soil, and allowing the soil to rest and replenish when it needs to. You're being asked to check in with your timing. Is now the time for action or for rest? It can change quickly, just like the phases of the moon. If you're unsure, that's okay too. Perhaps you're waiting for more light to reveal the way. As the moon grows full, all things come in time. Your message comes through this orticle. Orticle? I'm getting like a whale. Like an orticle. Your message comes through this oracle. Your manifestation is unfolding in perfect timing. If you feel something isn't happening fast enough or is happening quickly and you're unsure if you're really ready, be assured that all is well. If something is not clear to you and you would like to make it more so, the clarity you seek will come to you. Do not worry. Do not try to force the insight. Just be with what is happening now and trust. You are moving and growing and all is well. Soon you will see that for yourself, just as the moon grows full and revealing, even in the midst of deepest night. And waiting comes up. These moments are precious, like jewels on the crown of life. They beckon my heart, forming memories that sparkle with joy, and like the longing of a sweet caress, they draw me near, melting into one, showing what is possible on the journey of life, waiting for the seasons change. And then the next page is Loving All That Is, which came up in this here too, which is the 1 of the world and completion, 2 going on to the journey, and the 26 of the Page of Wands, which is the inspiration and the child energy. Well, that was really beautiful. I hope you appreciate that message. So make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, get your nature. If you want to check out K Moon's video on the 2 years that's coming up starting January 23rd, you can. And yeah, and Scorpio season, clearing those sexual wounds and the deep transformation of competition as well. So breathe and breathe again. Release any discomfort in your body and rise and be love, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.